The question, what is popular culture, can be answered in many different ways as it involves various topics and discussions. However, I will be focusing on the representation of race in popular culture. To do this, I am going to explore how race is represented in 2007 film Hairspray, as the topic has a very important role in the story. In order to do this, I will be using a semiotic analysis throughout the film, as I feel this would be the best way to approach the matter. According to Long and Wall, semiology is the attempt to explain how things mean, what they mean, and the various ways in which things mean what they do. This form of analysis looks into the signs and symbols, so I will be particularly looking into the way the black cast have been made to dress and behave, as well as focusing on the scenes where they have been placed separately from the whites, and how they choose to deal with the situation and what this symbolises. In order to make my argument stronger, I will be using various secondary sources from readings I have researched by authors and theorists such as Story. This will help answer the question as it looks in depth of one particular culture. It will reveal that popular culture is not just based on one topic and is not always positive. I will also show that popular culture is a very broad term and people will have their own opinions on what is deemed to be popular. In my opinion, by focusing on one topic, you will have a better understanding of the term as a whole. In order to understand the representation of race, my first secondary source I will be referring to is Spencer, who states that a number of recent studies indicate that the portrayal of race in the media reflects ideologies of multiculturalism and has moved away from crude stereotypes in favour of a representation of more subtle cultural differences. In order for my analysis to be successful, I must observe the subtle representation of race as well as the obvious references to the certain race culture. Hairspray was originally a John Waters film from 1988, then it was updated in 2007. It is based in the 60s, during a time where race was perceived differently to how it is today. Although it is set around a time where being racist was known to be normal, the film has subtle hints of new racism. Old racism is seen throughout the film. However, there are times where more subtle comments or actions are made showing racism in a more discreet way. Moving forward with the analysis, Hairspray follows a girl named Tracy Turnblad pursuing her dreams to be a dancer. Many sensitive topics are dealt with throughout the film, however, the situation of race is the most influential subject. The first observation I noticed in the analysis is that the dance show in which the film is based around, it shows an all-white cast. They state in the song The Nicest Kids in Town that once a month on the show they have a Negro Day. This day is the only day where blacks are able to dance on the show and are not allowed to mix with the whites. Although no blacks were shown during this particular scene, it presents them in a very negative way by only allowing them to be shown once a month. Moving on to a scene in which Turnblad receives a detention, she walks into the room where this scene is set and she finds that everyone in detention appears to be black. This symbolises that blacks are considered to have a bad reputation. Story states that human biology does not divide people into different races, it is racism that insists on this division. The statement that Story acknowledges can be seen throughout the film. In this particular scene, the division that is shown is the fact that no whites have been given detention, showing racism and labelling the blacks as troublemakers. The scene where it shows a school dance, we discover that the fashion that is given to the black cast is very dark. This is creating a very depressing presence and showing the negative stereotype in contrast to the white fashion where it's very patterned and colourful, which creates a more cheerful atmosphere. Next, as Turnblad gets accepted onto the show, she is asked what she would change, and she offers the suggestion of making every day Negro Day, giving the producers of the show a very outraged expression on their faces. This is suggesting that the idea is absurd. This is showing that the whites consider themselves superior towards the blacks. By doing this, it is taking the blacks' rights away and not being treated equally or fairly. The next scene, in my opinion, was the most important and interesting scene when observing the representation of race, and from here onwards we see huge character development from the black cast. It switches between scenes, the first one showing 3 white females performing the song. At first glance we see that they are clothed in bright patterned dresses that go out from the waist down to their ankles, showing no skin. Their dance moves during the song are fit to match their clothes, meaning that they are presented innocently. They are setting the good girl image. The scene then switches to 3 black women performing the same song during Negro Day. They are, however, presented very differently. Their clothing is much more revealing and are tighter against their bodies. They are showing no floral pattern, instead a solid bright orange. Their dance moves, in contrast to the whites' performance, can be deemed as a lot more sassier. The argument that is being made here is that although both races are singing the same song, the way they are presented suggests differently. The 3 white females are presented to look innocent, whereas the 3 black females are showing a more sassy side in their character. The scene where the blacks decide to go on strike in order for the show to be integrated, we see the outside of their living environment. It appears to be set in a rough area where we see individuals smoking and standing around in dark alleyways. All of this symbolises that blacks are seen to be poor, live rough, as well as continuing with the troubled image that has been presented to them throughout the rest of the film. At the end of the film, it presents the blacks in a much more positive manner. The competition that finishes the film, the public voted for a young black female to win the show. Then all blacks and whites come together in the same styled clothing and dancing together. One dance move shows all races holding hands. This sign is symbolising unity amongst the races, showing the blacks that they are equal. In conclusion, the representation of race that is shown in Hairspray starts off very negative by showing signs relating to a very aggressive image. The character development throughout the film shows the race in a more positive way and shows unity amongst the races. After researching on old racism, it has made me aware that the culture of race has changed. Instead of a more open racism, the media now uses it in a more discreet way, making it new racism. Either way, I have learned that there is not much comparison between the two theories. Each one insults culture, whether that be open or subtle. By learning this, I have come to the conclusion that the term popular culture depends on what an individual's personal taste consists of, forming a large group of people that share the same values. In this case, the culture of race is divided into two groups, white people and black people. The fact that they do not mix with each other shows a form of popular culture. The last secondary source that I will wish to use to end my argument is from Kellner, suggesting that media images help shape our view of the world and our deepest values, what we consider good or bad, positive or negative, moral or evil. In this particular circumstance, the media text I have analysed has shaped our thoughts into believing that black individuals are considered to be dangerous and white individuals are seen to be the innocent ones. However, the reality cannot be further away from the truth.